Hey, what's going on, everybody? Manny here once again. Welcome to DFS Zone, man. I got a brand new video for you, ladies and gentlemen. But before I get started, like always, I appreciate you guys drop a like. If you're new to the channel, it's your first time here, you have never ever seen any of my lineup advice videos, hey, the only thing you need to do to be able to get this content on a consistent basis and become a part of the community is to become a subscriber to the channel. So if you haven't done so already, please subscribe down below. Make sure you put on your post notification, that bell icon. Make sure you click on that and turn that on so this way you don't miss out on any of my lineup advice videos when I upload. With that being said, today is Thursday, February the 21st, 2019, and welcome back. We have 1 week off the All-Star break. We got a 6-game slate back in the association, and I am looking forward to it. It's been a long while. I did enjoy my first 3 or 4 days without having to worry about any NBA DFS, but of course the last day or two I was like already itching for like getting back in there and having some daily fantasy sports that I can play, because I do not play NHL. All right. Let's get right to it. So as you can see, man, here on FanDuel, I always go over who I'm on the top as far as the studs of the day. Who am I targeting? There's a lot of guys on the slate today that are in good matchups. James Harden in the paced-up game against the Lakers. Hey, I'm all for that. I give a thumbs up. I have no I would not cross him out of my list at all. I think this is a good matchup for him. I think he'll do well here. He's not one of my top guys, but I think I will have some exposure to him in quarter GPPs. LeBron James, same situation. I do like him here going up against Harden. He has already, pretty much has put it out there that he is going to do everything he can to try to get this team in the playoffs. So I expect LeBron James to go off as much as possible every single game. So LeBron James is definitely in play. The big news, Joel Embiid out with the knee for about a week. So definitely a bump on everybody across the board for Philadelphia. The guys, I did a little research beforehand. I'm still going to do a little bit more. But some of the top guys that have gotten the most usage and exposure when Embiid has been out has been actually T.J. McConnell as well as Jimmy Butler have been the top two. And then, of course, you got Ben Simmons and J.J. Redick, and everybody else is still on the board, as well as the guy who's going to fill in for him. Either Amir Johnson is probably going to start. He's probably only going to play 15 to 16, 17 minutes. At least that's what my thought is. Maybe Amir will start. If not, it'll be Marjanovic, and I think Marjanovic is definitely someone you got to consider as that drop spot pump play for the day. Definitely. He's going to probably be really highly owned by the time the day is over. But again, I don't have no qualms whatsoever with utilizing Marjanovic in this situation. I think I will have exposure to him as well. He's under 4K, and if he plays 20, 25 minutes, we're good to go, because I think he'll be able to put up one fantasy point per minute in that short period of time. But my favorite play here as far as the studs is KD, so I will have a lot of exposure to KD. I figure at least 20 to 25% of my lineups will have some Kevin Durant. So let's go over to the point guard position, and we're going to go right to my weapon. My research weapon of choice, as you guys know, is Draft Dashboard. Okay, if you're not utilizing Draft Dashboard, I am able to give that. I'm able to offer that to my viewers and my subscribers for 30 days for $1. You cannot beat that, and you're gonna have everything. This is minimizing your research time, ladies and gentlemen. You're gonna save a lot of time utilizing this software. And Chris at Draft Dashboard continues to add more features to the actual software. They've done a number of things as of late, and then I did request to maybe consider putting points per minute up here, and lo and behold, I go in here today and I noticed that he has put the points per minute on here. So great job, Chris, man. I appreciate that. And he also added another feature here. What I think is a very good feature is the value, chance of hitting value at a current salary. And that is definitely a nice feature added on here to the software, on top of fantasy points per game, minutes over the last 3 games average, the usage rate versus the opponent the last 3 times you have played them, projected points, ownership projections as well. And now you add points per minute as well as the hit percentage. That is fantastic features, especially this hit percentage. It definitely helps out if you played like I do on DraftKings as well as FanDuel. You'll be able to utilize the software for both platforms, and you're going to see, because of the actual difference in scoring in both platforms, you're going to be able to see the difference here, and that how well he hits that value, that price tag as far on a consistent basis. That's going to definitely help that percentage. So I really do like that added feature on top of him putting in the points per minute. A couple other things I did mention to him that I think will help. So maybe he'll work on those as well as we move further during the course of the NBA season. But again, man, everything you need here, like I said, so if you have not utilized, you don't have a software to help you out with getting your lineup set together, description down in the description of this video, there's a link there. Just click on that, set that up. And the other beauty of it also, if you do that as a subscriber and you utilize my link, you're going to be able to have access to my players, my watch players list, which is my player pool. And right now I have it at 16 for today. I've pretty much already narrowed down a number of plays, so more or less these 16, maybe give or take 1 or 2 may be eliminated, maybe 1 or 2 will be added from here to the time game comes to lock. But if you follow along there as well, you're going to be able to get that information. All right, let's go over to point guard position. Let's get right to it. At the top, we got Damian Lillard. We got Kyrie Irving. As you can see, I already have favored here Steph Curry. I do like Curry here at 9,500. You have 9,500. You need pretty much 46, 47 to me value. He's a 9,000 on DK, so you need 45. He hasn't quite hit that number consistently as of late, but as you can see, he did put a 52 2 games ago. His minutes are there, man. 34 average. He's been averaging a little bit of a bump more on minutes, maybe more about 35 as of the last few games. And then his usage rate, 37% in the last outing, 31% pretty much for the season. And of course, he has had great success against Sacramento. And his last 2 meetings against Sacramento, he's averaging 56 fantasy points. That is definitely above that price tag, which is also good. And as you can see, he's hit this 9,500 value, 9,500 at 46, 47. He's been able to do that 50% of the time. And the beauty of it is also he's at home. So I do like the factors that he's at home. And when he's at home, he is actually doing very, very well. We all know he has 50-point upside. The other thing that is very important is he's been shooting like crazy as of late. He's taken about 21, 22 shots per game over the last 3 or 4 games and taking about 14 threes per game, which is also slightly above trending upward as of late as well. So he is definitely shooting the rock like crazy. Versus Sacramento this year, 51% field goal percentage, 44% from 3, averaging 38 points per game and 59, pretty much like you say here, 56 fantasy points thus far. I mean, that is incredible. This is going to be a paced-up game. As you can see, 239.5, nearly 240-point implied total here. Sacramento is 27th, as you can see here in defending point guards, and they've been allowing 31.2 fantasy points per game as of late. They did give up 40 to Paul, 38 to Simmons, and 34 to Trae Young. So again, Steph Curry at home. Definitely love the matchup. Paced-up game. Very, very interesting game. I definitely do believe he's going to ball out here today and be able to meet value and crush value. So Steph Curry. Other than that, if you're not on Steph Curry, I have no problem with paying down and getting a little bit of Chris Paul here, 7,800. Chris Paul is in play for me. He's 7,600 on DK. So you need pretty much 36 to 38 fantasy points. We know he has 50-point upside. The Lakers are here, 19th in defending point guards. They've been allowing 30.6 fantasy points per game as of late to opposing point guards. They gave up 50 to Trae Young, and they gave up 47 to Kyrie Irving. Those are the two most, noticeable players that they have faced as of late. So, again, Chris Paul's in play. And, of course, I do like a little Colin Sexton here today. I also think he might be someone to consider as well. Let's go over to shooting guard. At shooting guard, at the top, we got James Harden, got Devin Booker. Like you can see, I did mention that I will have some exposure to James Harden. But, of course, here at DFS Zone, I always want to give you a couple options. So we don't have to necessarily pay up for James Harden. I think he's in a great spot. You can utilize him. There's no doubt about it. But if you come down, Devin Booker, good spot against Cleveland. I do like him there. He's not really someone I'm really going to have a lot of exposure to. I do like the matchup at the moment. At 8,200, you need pretty much 41. And on DK, he is 7,700. You only need 37. Very much attainable for Devin Booker. He is someone I am definitely targeting here. As you can see, he's part of my watch list. But my favorite play here at shooting guard, and the numbers might not look as good, is Buddy Hield. I definitely like Buddy Hield in this matchup against Golden State. He has played well against them. Paced up game. Definitely a good spot for him. 6,300. You pretty much need 32 to me value. And he is $6,400, $100 more expensive, as you can see that here on DK. So you need pretty much the same price tag. You need about 32 to me value, and he's averaging 31, so he's priced just about right, and he is capable in very good spot here. As you can see, 31 average pretty much on his fantasy point totals. Last 3 games, 36, 30, and 37, but overall 30 plus in 8 out of his last 9 games, which obviously is trending upward. So I definitely like that. It also tells me that he could be a good cash play player in this matchup today, simply because he has been consistent as of late. So for you guys that like to play cash, he may be an option for you. The minutes are there, man. 32 on average for the season, but as you can see, his last 3 games, 2 out of his last 3 games, he's been averaging 33 to 34, so he's slightly trending a little bit upward, and the usage rate is there, 25% on average. But look at the last 2 games, 34 and 29%. 34 and 29% of the last few games. And then, of course, 40 average against Golden State, but he did put up 44 and 42 in 2 out of the last 3. And as you can see, he's hit this price tag 51% of the time. He has met value. He's averaging 1 fantasy point per game, and his ownership projection right now is only 5%. And you said 5 times value here, man. So definitely he is in a situation where he can definitely do a whole lot of damage here. His away splits, because he is away, and I wanted to look at that a little bit further. 48% field goal percentage against Golden State, away, 48% from 3, 20 points per game on average, and 32 fantasy points. This is away during the course of the entire season. Versus Golden State, 3 games this year, 57% field goal percentage, 53% from 3, 29 points per game, 43 fantasy points per game. So the numbers have been really terrific. Unless something majorly goes wrong here, I don't see no reason why he will not be near those numbers again. Golden State is 8th in defending shooting guards. As you can see here, they've been allowing 27.2 fantasy points per game. They did give up 37 to Mr. Waiters recently, 31 to Ingram, and 33 to Mitchell. So I do like Buddy Hield here. As you can see, I do like a little bit of Karis LeVert here as well at 5,800. His minutes up. He's definitely someone to consider. 30-plus minutes in his last game, and he also took 14 shots in that game, 5 shots from 3. Also had some rebounds. He brings rebounds and assists. He had an overall good game his last game out. So he is definitely someone in my radar. All right, let's go over to small forward. At small forward, I already told you I'm going to have a whole lot of Kevin Durant. So Kevin Durant is my guy. 10,200, and he pretty much 51 to meet value. He's 9,300 on DK, so you need 46 to meet value there, and he's averaging 47. So on DK, the price is just absolutely just perfect for him. 47 plus in 3 out of his last 4 games. As you can see, 47 average, 48, 52 in 2 out of the last 3 games. His minutes are there, 35 average, but he's been at 37 and 36 in 2 out of the last 3, so he's slightly trending a little bit up. I would say he's in the 36-minute range right now. 30% usage rate has been a little down, 27 and 27 in his last 2 games again, but look at the numbers against Sacramento. 58 average, 54 and 51 in the last 2 games, and he had a 69 spot 3 games ago. He's also, his usage rate, again, very, very good. He's taking shots. He's still taking his general amount of shots, 19 to 20 pretty much per game, 7 to 8 threes. He brings, obviously, defense. He has done this, 5 blocks in his last 2 games. So he has definitely been defending as of late as well. He's projected to put up about 46. As you can see, 46% of the time he has met value at that 10,002. And points per minute, 1.4 fantasy points per minute is an excellent number for fantasy points per minute. I definitely love that matchup there as well. Versus Sacramento this year, 3 games, 50% shooting from the floor, 39% from 3, averaging 9 rebounds, 8 assists, 1.5 blocks per game, 35 points per game, and 58 fantasy points per game. So he has been literally on fire in these 3 games against Sacramento. Versus Sacramento, as you can see, 28th in defending small forwards. They've been allowing 27.8 fantasy points per game, which is a little bit pretty good as of the last few games. Bridges put up 31. They have not given up anything really good because they haven't faced anybody really good. Bridges put up 31. That was 2 games ago. The last time they faced somebody in the top tier range was Jimmy Butler. That was back on February the 2nd, and he put up a 49 spot. So Kevin Durant, excellent spot to be able to put up 50 or more here today. I think he'll meet value and even crush it. Other than KD, right below him, I do like, if I can find him here, Kelly Oubre is someone that I will be considering as well. As you can see here, Kelly Oubre is definitely someone on my radar. He's been averaging 25, 35 plus in 2 out of his last 3 games going up against Cleveland. Cleveland is 25th in defending small forwards and allowing 29.4 fantasy points per game. They just recently gave up 34 to LeVert, 25 to Knox, and 26 to Bogdanovich. Other than that, obviously, a little exposure. You got to consider J.J. Redick. As steady as he is for cash, he's definitely good, but he is definitely someone that I am also considering for GPP today, simply because he is going to get a little bit of a bump in usage. They're going to need scoring without Embiid on the floor, and he's going to be one of those guys that's going to get a little bit of a bump. So he is someone to consider there as well. There'll be others as well here. Let's move on. At power forward today, at the top, power forward and center were a little bit tougher for me today because there's a lot of good options. But at power forward, I mean, even Harris here is in a good spot, 7,100. You only need 36. He's been hitting this 58% of the time. So just using this percentage here and knowing that is definitely important. He's averaging more than 1.1 fantasy points per minute. this is a good spot for Tobias Harris, so he's definitely someone you can consider. But I do like this little batch right here of Green, Kuzma, and Jackson. And I'm going to say Kuzma here more favor of. And the only reason why is, one, he's very, very hot. Two, he has a little bit more upside right now, at least as of late, the way he's been playing. He's taking a lot more shots, obviously, than Draymond. We know Draymond is capable of getting you double-double, triple-double threat pretty much every single night, but he's not going to take tons of shots. Kyle Kuzma, 6,600 on a paced-up game. Definitely do like him here. 233.5 implied total in this game, 30-point average, fantasy points per game average, and he's put up 29, 43, and 37. Now, granted, I have him here at 37 plus in 3 out of his last 4 games and 25 floor points or better in 3 out of his last 4 games. So he is shooting well, and he's been doing that even with LeBron on the team. 24% usage rate, which is very, very good. As you can see, 2 games ago was 32%. And, of course, he has put up nice numbers against Houston, 49 and 42. Now, granted, this 49 was with no LeBron James, but the 42 and 24 LeBron James was in those lineups. We know that Kyle Kuzma is also kind of like the second leading scorer on the team. He's like the second go-to guy, at least in my opinion, as far as offense is concerned. So I do like him here. He's going to have to pick it up a little bit more here with LeBron if they're going to try to get this team into the playoffs. Again, 43% of the time he meets. This is a good price for Kyle Kuzma, especially the way he's been playing as of late. So I do like him here a whole lot. At home, his splits are 47% field goal percentage, 31% from 3, 19 points per game, and 33 fantasy points per game. Against Houston this year in 3 games, he's shooting 51% from the floor, 32% from 3, 22 points from the floor per game, and 38 fantasy points per game. At that price tag, he'll be able to at least be able to get 38 for sure. And I see that he has the potential to get 40 or better here. I do like Kyle Kuzma a whole lot here. Houston is 12th in defending power forwards, allowing only 29.1 fantasy points per game. They did give up 28 to Saric, 29 to Finney-Smith, and 28 to Grant over the last 3 games. And I think Kyle Kuzma is a little bit more athletic, a little more explosive offensively than those 3 guys there at this moment. So Kyle Kuzma definitely someone I do like. And if I'm not on Kuzma, I don't mind paying $200 more for Draymond Green in this matchup. But considering I like a whole lot of KD and a whole lot of Steph Curry in a main slate, I probably wouldn't gang up on 3 Golden State Warriors. I probably would just stay with KD and Steph. That's the way I would play it. But the after hours, I definitely will have lineups where I will stack up these 3 guys for sure in some of my lineups. So I'm looking at more so of stacking Green with Durant and Steph in the after-hour slate. Other than that, Josh Jackson in play as well. Definitely someone that I'm considering here. Draymond, again, going back to Draymond Green, man, 33 fantasy points per game at home this year versus Sacramento in 2 games. He's averaging 36 fantasy points per game. So, again, he has the only upside with him is that he definitely can get you a double-double, triple-double. So he works perfectly on DraftKings. He is a perfect guy to have. He's only 6,000 on DraftKings. You only need 30. I think he could definitely attain that. Other than that, I mean, Josh Jackson, Kevin Love, if he gets, we know that he's going to get slowly but surely more minutes. He claims he's feeling really, really good. As long as he feels good, he's going to be in play. He's $1,200 cheap on DK from $5,700, so you're looking at $4,500 on DK. That's not a bad price. He's definitely someone to consider as well. Anyway, let's move along here. Center. At the top, man, again, as you can see, man, Yusuf Nurkic is definitely someone you got to consider. My only concerns with Nurkic, and it's always been this, is just his minutes. I mean, we know he's capable of getting you 1.1 fantasy point per minute or better on the floor when he's on the floor, but he has to play 28 minutes or better. Now, he's been up and down with the minutes. He's pretty much averaging 27, as you can see here, during the course of the season. At 8,100, you only need 40 fantasy points to meet value here, and he's going up against Brooklyn, which is the worst defending team against centers in the league this year. And on top of that, they cough up 32.6 fantasy points per game. So I do like Nurkic a whole lot here. My only concerns, as always been, is his minutes. If he gets more than enough minutes, he's definitely, I will sprinkle him in some of my lineups because I do love the matchup. I mean, 37 last 3 games. His average is 37. He's averaging 24, 33, and 33. So as you can see, he has been definitely trending downward as far as fantasy point totals, and the minutes have been a little up and down as well. But if we can get 28 minutes or better for Nurkic in this game, Brooklyn is going to play tough. Brooklyn is not going to, get blown out here. They just rarely ever get blown out, and so I do. And Brooklyn is actually at home as well, so that's an advantage for them. Could be in a competitive game. I do believe he's going to have an opportunity to play 28 minutes or better, and he's going to have the opportunity to blow this thing wide open and get 45, 50 fantasy points. So I like Nurkic. He will be sprinkled in about maybe 10, 15% of my lineups. If you're not on Nurkic, then you got to consider guys like Willie Cauley-Stein at this price tag. You cannot go wrong, 6,300. DeMarcus Cousins. Where's DeMarcus Cousins? Cousins here also, 7,600. He is definitely someone I'm considering. He is only 6,100 on DK, ladies and gentlemen. You only need 30 to meet value on DK. 7,600, you need 36. It's a bigger number, but he is capable of it. He has put up, he hasn't played this team since last year. And when he played them last year, he put up a 58 spot and a 79 spot in 2 games. So he averaged more than 68 fantasy points against this team last year, all right, when he was part of the Pelicans. So, again, Cousins, this is going to – I mean, actually, this was 2017, 2018 season, sorry, because they did lose out on Cousins halfway through the season last year. But, again, Boogie Cousins in play, man, 7,600, 32 pretty much in his last few games. He's gotten as high as 36, 23 minutes, 28, 26. His minutes are slowly but surely creeping up. 28% usage rate, as you can see, 2 games ago, 35%. Again, 18% of the time he's met that value, but this is based on what he has done as of late because he just came back from injury. So that number I'm not going to go by. We know that as DFS players that Cousins has only been in about 4 or 5 games. So again, DeMarcus Cousins in play here. As you can see, that 1.4 fantasy points per minute is very real. He's capable of putting that number up there. But as you can see, they are projecting him to be 60% ownership. So that's pretty high. So you know, not going to be on Cousins. You pivot off of him. You got guys like Willie Cauley-Stein. And, of course, you got Marjanovic, which I mentioned. Right now, he's at 17%. This is going to be a little bit higher, especially if he starts. But even if he doesn't start, I think Boban Marjanovic is going to get 20 minutes or better for sure. And he's capable of putting up 1.2, 1.3 fantasy points per minute in that short period of time. So I do like Boban Marjanovic here as well as that good drop spot on FanDuel or pump play, whatever way you want to consider it here in the matchup today. But Nurkic is definitely the guy that I'm leaning to. And other than that, Cousins. And that's pretty much it, man. That's where I'm at, ladies and gentlemen. Again, if you have not taken advantage of the software and now the new features added to it, hey, man, again, the only thing you have to do, click on that link down below. I'll be able to offer you the software for 30 days for $1 to try it out. You're not going to get that anywhere else. And on top of that, you'll be able to have my watch players list. You'll be able to go right to that on your dashboard. You'll be able to click on there, go right there. I can just show you real quickly. You'll click on that, and then you click on watch players. And when you click on the watch players list, it's going to come up, and there should be a button up here on the top saying watch DFS Zones picks. And then you click there, and then you'll be able to have access to that as well. All right, guys? So that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. First time back in a while. Hey, you know what? Tomorrow's another day. Good luck today, man. I wish you guys a whole lot of luck. Again, if you want to follow me along, my social media is down now, part of the screen, so you'll be able to get that. I will tweet out later what's my last lines, and, of course, you'll be able to follow along here and be able to see what players I have in the players pool by the time we go to lock. And that's pretty much it, man. Again, I'll see you guys tomorrow.